Hi everyone, it's mostly Maddie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking through my 2025 planner plans, and before I get into that, I want to talk about what I did this year, what worked for me, what didn't work for me, what I'm changing for next year, and just know that everything I say here is all subject to change because I can never make up my mind. So without further ado, let's get into it. You might see over here that I have this Hobonichi A6, and I'm going to be referring to this because I wrote some notes down, but the first one I'm going to talk about is the Hobonichi A6. This is the original size. As you can see, I have the cousin right here. So I bought this at the beginning of the year thinking I was going to use this and my Hobonichi Weeks. I quickly realized this was a little too small for me personally because I was using it for more long form journaling, trying to start like memory keeping, and I just realized very quickly that it was just not enough space for me with what I wanted to do. And so I was doing these prompts and just kind of writing about my day, and it wasn't really like fulfilling what I wanted. And so I actually stopped doing that pretty early in the year. Yeah, like the 23rd of January. I actually just picked it back up. I've been using it for content stuff, specifically just like my to-do lists. So anyway, I'm not going to be using one of these for next year, but I just thought it was so funny that I had this at the beginning of the year, haven't touched it in months, and of course it's like the end of the year and I'm picking it up and I'm like, oh, I like this. Do I need one? And it's like, no, Maddie, you don't. You didn't use it at all this year. Like, why would you think all of a sudden you need this? So anyway, once I realized this was too small, I brought in the A5 Techo, which absolutely love this, and I'm so happy I added it into my rotation for this year. It has been such a great place for memory keeping for me. I actually didn't use these quarterly pages. I might try to see what I can do with these next year, but I didn't do anything with them this year. Then I have been doing all of my ink swatches. I am an ambassador for Ferris Wheel Press, and so this was a place where I've just been putting all of my swatches, and I'm going to do the same thing for next year. I'm going to probably put them in the December date just because I really like seeing how the ink looks on the Tomoe River paper. It'll be a great reference to have for the 2025 as well. I've mentioned this before, but these are all going to be blurred because I do a photo a day in here. It's mostly just all pictures of my kids, and I have loved this because I look back and I have small children and they change literally every day. So going through here, flipping through, and we had a baby in March, and seeing just all of their faces change, seeing our baby grow, it has been so much fun. I have to give my friend Amy a shout out from Happy Olive Studio. She does this in her Hobonichi Weeks, and she inspired me to do this year. I know lots of people do this, but that's who I got the inspiration from. And I have just found it to be so enjoyable. I use my Canon selfie printer to print these out. I can do 12 photos at a time. So I did all the sizing and everything, and I have a template in Canva that I use. And then I just switch out the pictures every time I hit 12 days, and then I cut them out and put them in here. The weekly pages, I started the year strong doing them, and I really liked it, but I quickly realized it just is not conducive to my lifestyle right now. I'm a stay-at-home parent, so I was just kind of going through at the end of the day and writing everything we did. It just kind of felt redundant to me. It's not like super important that I know this information, and I just wasn't having fun with it. And as soon as I'm not having fun with something, I stop doing it. So I stopped that after a couple of weeks. I've done a couple little like trackers in here, which clearly, like, I don't watch movies, so it was kind of funny that I did this, but I don't know. I was just playing around with things this year. I wanted to see what was going to work, and this is like my list of my favorite audiobook narrators because I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I tried this little format one time and I liked it, except I don't like that I had to print a picture for everything. So I wanted to find something similar to this where I didn't have to be printing photos. Just a little washy sample here. So I ended up, it was a huge trend on TikTok for a long time. People did their weekly reports, which was reading, eating, playing, obsessing, recommending, and treating. And I thought, what a fun way to recap a week. And these are things that I don't necessarily talk about in my daily entries. And so I just thought it would be like a cool thing to look back on every week and see like really what was going on in my life. And so I have really enjoyed this format. I think I'm going to keep doing this into the new year for my weeklies, because I just think it's a really fun like recap. I do it every Sunday. It's a nice way to like reflect on the week as well. In terms of the dailies in here, every day is different. But like I said, this is very much a memory keeping book for me. So I do print a lot of pictures. I put a lot of pictures of my kids in here. I like this because it's literally whatever I want all the time. The format constantly changes. And this has been such a really fun way for me to memory keep and include photos and highlights of just our day-to-day life. I use washi tape. I use Tombow markers. I make mood boards every month. I have enjoyed this so much. This has brought me an insane amount of joy I can't even begin to describe. So that is going to be how I use this for next year as well. This is not a traditional planning journal for me. This is really memory keeping, and I just have found to really enjoy that. I had to take a little intermission. We are getting ready to sell our house, and the videographer was here taking videos, so I had to briefly pause and set back up here. So also, if you hear a little noise in the background, just ignore it. It's my baby. He's just rolling around on the floor having a good time. Okay, so to talk about my weeks and how I use that and how I've used that for this year, for the calendar portion, I have really just been putting in like appointments, things that we've had going on, and really using that as like a traditional planner situation. When you get into the weeks, so last year, for some context, I used this portion here to write basically about our day, just a sentence or two, and just to see if I could get back into journaling, and I did. So this year I now have the cousin where I do that kind of journaling, and so I've been kind of trying to figure out what to do on this side, which I have changed it up throughout the year. Sometimes I'm doing a daily gratitude. Sometimes I do granular to-do lists. There are points where I'm tracking spending, so I will write all of that down. These big numbers are where I have been tracking our time outside, which is a goal of ours to get outside for 1,000 hours every year. And then the right-hand side, as you know, it is usually blank, so I was doing habits for a while, and then to-do lists, and then the recap of time spent outside, money spent, and media consumed. Now, again, this has also changed throughout the year. I was doing this habit tracking, and pretty much all of these, other than like no spend and the steps, I was doing every day. And it just felt kind of silly to have it as habit trackers, because it was like, well, I'm doing this. This isn't really reminding me to do anything. Like, I was already doing the things, you know what I mean? So it was just kind of like, why am I writing this down? Really helped me stay on track for my 7K steps and my hours outside during the spring and winter months. But then when you get into summer, it's like things are just different. I want to streamline this more next year and do something a little different, because what I have found this year is, because I'm doing my long form memory keeping in the cousin, there's some overlap, and I'm feeling less motivated to be in my weeks than I used to be. But it's such a great functional planner, the one I've ever stuck with for an entire year. So I'm like, I need to find a way to make this work in 2025. So that is what I'm like starting to try to figure out, is my plans for next year. Since you have these months in the beginning that I never use, I was kind of trying to do some experimenting. And here's where I run into an issue. I think I'm going to be using this next year for mostly content planning and just regular to-do lists. The problem is I have this account, right? So I have YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram for Mostly Maddie. And I also have a travel-related account, Wanderlust in Ohio, which has an Instagram and a TikTok. So I've been trying to figure out, like, how can I make this work for both accounts? Like, do I split this into having this just be Wanderlust, this be Mostly Maddie? Do I do Instagram over here too? Then I'm like, that feels like too much real estate for every single day for just one social media platform. So I don't know. I'm still trying to work through how I'm going to make it work. Or do I just like have it all be together and I don't need to have it separated because it's so very different. When I write things down, I know what goes with what. It's not like I need a reminder because they're very different accounts. It's very different content. So separating them might not even make sense. I could just have it all be together and I know what is what. And I'm the only one who looks at this. So that should be what matters. So I think it's going to be content planning, like writing down, filming, editing, voiceover, just all the to-dos that I have to do because it is a lot. It is a lot and it's hard to keep it all in my brain. For the right side, I think I'll continue keeping this where I break down like the home to-do list because that still needs to live somewhere. Maybe the work and content ideas. And for the second half, I think I'll just have it be for media that I'm consuming, like any books I'm reading or listening to. And obviously, I will not be doing the outside tracking next year. So when you look in the back and you have the blanks, I have monthly recaps, which is a carryover from last year, which I definitely am not doing next year. Because I have my cousin and because I have another edition for next year, these are going to be so redundant in here, I don't want to include them. I'm just going to focus for the back, I think is going to be strictly my reading log. And I will have a section for any like additional notes where I just want to be jotting things down. So I'll start the notes section with the reading because that will be the bulk of what I use the pages for. And then, yeah, I think everything else, I'm not going to do the outside time in here. I have a hiking journal. So if I feel like I want to do that, maybe I'll just push that over into that journal. But I didn't love the way I set this up this year. And I didn't give myself enough space. And so I just want to keep it super simplified for next year. So that is the goal and plan for 2025. I think that is the plan. This is going to be mostly content, calendar planning. Oh, and I forgot to mention in the front, what I'm going to do with the monthly view is what I've been doing. Let me show you really quick. I need to grab it. I mentioned I've been playing around in my A6 that I never ended up using this year, just to test some things out. And I actually think this is going to work really well for me in the weeks section here. I have monthly requirements for 2 different brands. And so I can fill the side section with those where I can just check them off throughout the month when I do them. And then I can, once I post things, I can just plop them in here and write what got posted each day. I just think it'll be nice for me to write it all down and see at the end of the month, like, okay, wow, I really did create a lot of content and like here it all is and laid out. I think that will be a nice visual representation for me. And when I have things coming up, I can like preemptively put them in the calendar. I just think it's going to be really helpful for me. So now that we've kind of gone over what I did for this year, I'm going to quickly share what I got from Hobonichi for 2025. I did receive the A5 grid notebook. It's just a plain notebook. And I think I may just use this for some ink swatching, marker swatching, any kind of like testing I want to do before I put pen to paper in any of the other journals. So this will just be like a good testing ground for me because I don't know what else I would do with it. For 2025, I got the bow and tie cherry fabric on my Hobonichi weeks. Let's get her opened up. Oh, I'm so excited. I have the hardest time deciding what cover to get for the weeks. But this just spoke to me. I love the blue and red combination. And I went with a plain for 2024. So I thought it would be fun to switch it up and do a pattern for 2025. I will most likely take this clear cover off of here and put it on here for 2025. And then I'll just remove these stickers and have it just be plain because I do like having that clear case on there. This is, like I mentioned, what is going to be mostly for content planning and my reading log, any sort of like media. It might be a mix of like content planning and like just general media log type stuff. So we'll see. But I just adore this design. I think it's so beautiful. And I go with the regular. I do not get the mega. I don't feel like I need that many pages in the back. I love that they offer that, but I just don't need that much space. Again, the same thing as 2024. So here is the comparison of my 2024 lineup and my 2025 lineup. So again, with the cover, I'm probably going to take the cover off of here. I will likely do stickers on the cover of this again because I really like how that looks. And there was a case that I really liked for the cousin. However, it was like, I think the most expensive cover, it was like $130 or something crazy. It was gorgeous though. So maybe someday I will get it, but it wasn't in the cards for this order. So yeah, I already kind of talked through the memory keeping plan. That will carry on into 2025. This will look different than this, but I love this system has just worked so well for me, and I'm very excited to have another year of Hobonichi in my life. I also, for accessories, I only got 2 things. So I got the Weeks pencil board. Again, I'm very heavily influenced by my friend Amy. She's a great source of inspiration for me, but she had one last year and I thought it would be a really nice addition to have in here as just maybe like a place to know where I'm at in the book, or to actually use it as like a pencil board. I'm not sure. We'll see. I just thought the dog was really cute. This accessory I got were these pockets, and they're for the weeks. I guess you could probably add them to the other journals too if you wanted to. So since there is 4 of them, I guess I could use them in more than just the weeks, but I kind of thought I would probably put one maybe in the front. I have to figure out where I want to put these, but you just peel these off and then they're just kind of like little folders that you can use for any of your notebooks. So yeah, I didn't go crazy on the accessories. Oh, I did get the cherry deco tape. Where is that? It's not here, but I got the cherry deco tape as well. Thing from Hobonichi that I'm very excited about this year. I watched an old video from Sterling Ink from a few years ago, and she was doing like a review of this in the Midori, and it just inspired me to get one started. I'm really kicking myself. I wish I would have gotten one of these when my first son was born in 2019. It's crazy that like this would have been the last year of using that one. Like I would have already filled up a 5-year, but I want to use this for memory keeping. And this is something I still need to really think through. I have 3 kids now, so I don't know if maybe it's going to be like 1 line for each kid per day, or if it's just going to be a general what we did that day as a family, because I am a stay-at-home parent right now, talking about memories, funny quotes, really just anything that captures our family time from those days. I think will be so cool to come back in here and look through each year and just see how much they have changed and grown, and like the things we're talking about, the things they're saying. For this side, I think I'm going to either do a prompt and then have like everybody answer the prompt, and I'll write all of everyone's answers in here. I may have, you know, as they get older, like my 5-year-old could do this now where he can like sign his name and maybe do a little drawing. And then as my 3-year-old, you know, gets older, I'll have him start to like do this as well, where they kind of fill up this page, or we do the prompt. So again, I don't know 100% yet what that's going to look like, but the idea is either a prompt we all like talk through at dinner, or I have them draw or write their names, or maybe I do that like once a quarter with the drawing and the name, because like every day feels kind of silly. We're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna talk to my husband, and he's gonna like help me keep this up to date as well, just because like he wants to do this too. I told him about it and he was really excited, even though he's like not a journaler, and he loves looking at mine, but he just doesn't have the mental capacity to like keep up with anything. So I think if we could like tag team this together, it'll be really cool. And then in the back here, you get 1 big page for each year. So I don't know if maybe that will just be a place where I kind of do like a collage of images or something. Since this, I'm not doing any pictures in these pages, it's going to be all just writing, but maybe I could do pictures at the end of every year in here. I'm not sure. Again, this one is subject to change in terms of like really what happens on each side, but no matter what, this is going to be our family journal. And I just think it'll be something really cool for all of us to look back on. And it'll be like really fun to see it when it's complete. It'll be fun to fill it out while we're doing it. We also do high, lows, and buffaloes at the dinner table, where we talk about a high from the day, a low from the day, and then something silly that happened, or like something funny that happened in the day. So maybe those will get added in here too. I don't know. Those are just some of my ideas for how I'm going to keep up with this. Like I said, I really wish I would have started this when my firstborn was born, like the year of 2019. However, all I can do now is just do things now. So that's what I'm doing. Only other thing I have lined up for 2025 is I am getting a Sterling Ink monthly booklet. I'm getting that I believe I ordered the passport size. And since in here, this is where I put our family calendar. Since this is all going to be content now, I am getting the monthly booklet in hopes that I will just use that. I will carry that one in my bag, and that will just be where I have like our family's appointments and travel dates in there, because I still need that to be living somewhere, but it doesn't feel right to be in here. And also, since I do the photo a day in the monthly section of the cousin, I can't put that in there either. So I needed somewhere for that to live. So there are these like teeny little monthly booklets, and then there's like, I think 40 blank pages in the back. It's really, really slim though. I will show it to you once it arrives, but I just ordered it. She just launched them, I believe yesterday or 2 days ago. So I don't have that yet, but that is the only other thing that is dated specifically for 2025. That is the lineup for the year. Let me know what you guys are doing with your plans. And I do have other journals and notebooks that I use continually throughout the year, but these are the ones that are specifically dated for 2025. So those are my plans. Thanks for listening and following along. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. Or if you just want to chat about what your plans are, I love talking about planner plans, and I don't have anybody in my real life to talk to about. So feel free to comment below, and I would love to chat with you down there about what your plans are and what your setup is. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye.